In this live stream, I'm going to walk you through the 8 biggest questions you should ask when building your brand. Let's get started. Too many people in this world think that branding begins with choosing a name and designing a logo. Branding takes place at every touch point and every time a customer interacts or even thinks about your brand. And most importantly, branding is unlimitedly controlled by the customers and not by the marketer. That's right. After all your hard work you put into building out your perception of your brand, it's the customer that chooses what the brand means to them and not your business. Too many companies think they get to choose their brand. You only get to influence your customer's opinion of your brand and not choose it. Let's take a look at creating a brand strategy. A brand, like a product and a website, is never truly done. While these are just their logos, and again, that's only a small piece of the brand. You can see that over time, every good brand evolves. You don't just create a branding strategy and then you've got a brand. It's a daily process of bringing multiple aspects of your voice and your business together, and then adjusting them to what a customer expects from you. So while these questions will get you one step closer to building your brand's identity, they will not truly build your brand for you. That requires execution over the next few months and years. Think about these questions as a great foundation of building your brand over the next few months. Okay. Brand vision. Where do you see your business going? What are your goals? How is your brand business going to have an impact? You need to start with the end in mind, because if you don't know what your end goal is, then you won't know when you've reached your dream of accomplishment. BDesign's vision can be broken down into these key components. Purpose. What is the fundamental purpose behind your business that inspires everyone in and outside of the organization to do what they do and love doing it? Without a purpose, it's really hard to unite people around your cause or your brand. Think about the very root problem that you're solving and try to describe that with a few buzzwords as possible. Think about Starbucks' purpose. to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person in one cup in one neighborhood at a time. Notice it was very little to do with coffee, but actually to do with the Starbucks experience. Starbucks purposely does not say coffee in their statement or brand purpose, even though we know Starbucks as the coffee place. They want to leave the door open for any beverage at all. And that was wise, and that was a wise choice because Starbucks has played around with expanding into wine and craft beers. Now let's take a look at position. What is the fundamental idea that you own in the consumer's mind? When I think of soda, I think of Coca-Cola. When I think of singing competitions, I think of American Idol. What's the one thing that you want to be known for? Now promise. What is the value that you promise to deliver to the consumer? This is the core benefit of using your products. I'll give you a hint. It's not saying it's not saving you time and money. And it's not connecting you with people you love. It's more along the lines of we won't rest until we end all suffering from X by providing our customers with Y. Think about Kodak for a second. This company that created the first digital camera but ultimately failed for bankruptcy after constantly missing the change to digital. And why did they fail at this? Because they thought they were in the business of making cameras and film, but they really should have been in the business of capturing and sharing moments. It all comes back to value that they decided to provide to their customers. They provided people with cameras and film so that they take pictures. But people don't want pictures. They want memories. Do you see the key difference in positioning your value here? Make sure you're providing your customers with core benefits, not the core feature. In this example, the camera. Okay. Moving on with your mantra, or in other words, your slogan, which is a short 3 to 5 word phrase or motto. You line your business and hopefully life by. For instance, BDesigns is if you dream it, we can help you design it. Let's take a look at Nike's mantra. Authentic, athletic performance. It quickly explains their core benefit and belief and what you can expect from their product. Having a company mantra helps increase brand equity. Brand equity. The next question you should ask when building your brand is, why will your target market believe your promise? This is the credibility aspect of your core value. Why should anyone think you're the best graphic designer agency or the best social media marketer in the field or whatever? You obviously need to back up your claims with some level of credibility. This is probably one of the key reasons why startups fail. Here's how it usually goes for startups. What happens is two people come up with an idea about solving a problem. They're developers, or maybe hobbyists, or enthusiasts in the subject matter. They start out building a solution to the problem. They never talk to any customers or get any feedback or reach out to experts in their new field. Months later, their product is ready to launch. They open the doors and crickets. No one shows up. They flop. They lose the business, and the business fails. They never stop to ask the question, are we the right people to be building this? Or are we credible enough to make this company work? When you ask the question and you find the answer is no, you realize you need to shift your focus to building credibility. This could be through hiring a subject matter expert, partnering with the right company. In any case, if you're not credible, that's okay. Accept it. Work to become credible, and people will eventually start to recognize your expertise. It doesn't happen overnight. Building your company and influence is a marathon, not a sprint. So get started today. Brand story. What is your unique hero tale? This relates back to the credibility in a sense. How did you as a company come to be? And makes you so passionate about solving this problem? The term storytelling has been buzzing across the content marketing world for a while now. But this isn't just about making up a good story. It's about getting people to relate and stand behind your ideals as a company. Getting them to understand why you gave up your everything to start this business. Sometimes, such as the case with Tom's Shoes, the company that donates a pair of shoes to needy children everywhere. They donate a pair of shoes every time you buy a pair of shoes from the store. The story is the brand. How will you tell a story as compelling as theirs? Let's talk about your company's core value. What principles are you going to shape your company's culture and support your brand's vision? This is the traditional core value that so many companies differentiate themselves. We're transparent, but you're not really. We have a great culture. I certainly hope so. There's no company out there like us. That's what they all say. These unique core values that so many companies profess having become a standard for tech startups, which is good. This means we can all stop repeating and advise and find truly fantastic ways to differentiate ourselves. One of my favorite core values that I live by as a graphic designer and a brand designer and a instructor is to show people, not to tell people. So think of what truly unique values you have and build those into your daily routine as a company. Moving on with character, what is your backbone made of? What's negotiable and what is not? This relates back to the brand archetype that we talked about earlier. What type of hero or villain are you? Are you going to make outlandish claims or back everything up with data? Are you going to be edgy or a villain? Now let's talk about your brand personality and voice. How do you present yourself? Do you have a sense of humor or are you honest to a fault? Are you a casual brand or a suit and tie mentally? Are you going to cuss? Or maybe you want to use ton of corporate jargon for some reason. Do you want people to have fun, learn, question their beliefs? How will you act in your voice can be slightly different based on the medium you were interacting on. For us, we talk a slightly more educational approach to the videos BDesign 680 create, but stay extremely business orientated on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram when pitching the potential clients. Brand expression. How does your brand come to life across the broad spectrum of media? What type of content are you going to become known for? What are your customers going to experience your brand? Where do you want them to go for? The goods? Your blog? Your Instagram account? Or maybe the sign outside your storefront? Do you want to be known as the infographic company, like Kiss Metrics? Or maybe you want to have the best email newsletter on the planet. You could even be known as for sending cutesy packages in the mail. If that's you, you need to decide where to concentrate your efforts on, because unless you have an unlimited budget and massive team, you've got 2 channels max to focus on. Use the simple Venn diagram to decide what channel works best for you. Feel free to draw your own and actually put the channels in the circles to find your answer. Using this process, you can see while you may think Snapchat is the next coolest tool for marketing, the diagram quickly reminds you that you aren't a Snapchat pro already. You probably shouldn't make it the main channel for your business. And don't think your choice is forever. This choice could change overnight. Find your sweet spot and run with it until it doesn't work anymore. Brand differentiation. Copying the same strategy as another company is a tactic reserved for the rare breed of supervillains that aren't creative enough to come up with their own great ideas. Don't be a copycat. Originality is way more fun. It's okay to use other companies as inspiration, but don't copy every little thing they do. In order to be different, you need to have a deep understanding of everyone else and a unique take on an old classic, a content tilt. Take a look at the Chicken Whisperer, for example. Here's a guy who loves backyard poultry farming, a hobby many people practice. He found that when he wanted to learn about chicken farming, there wasn't much information. And he set out to change that. He found the intersection of backyard poultry and education and grew a massive following from being the only person in the industry. Another example is nutrition gone wild. There are a lot of nutrition sites on the web. Many talk about weight loss, diet fads, and exercise. Not this one. This site combines the Venn diagram of partying and nutrition to give uniquely powerful information to those who like to have fun, but are still concerned about their health. Let's take a look at competitive analysis. A great brand stands out from the competition. What is it that they think they are? What is it their customers think they are? What are they missing that you can't capitalize on, that you can capitalize on, and so much more, including in visual and language analysis. You could really spend a full week analyzing your competitors to position your brand ever so more perfectly. Now let's take a look at unique selling proposition, otherwise known as USP. What do you have that the competition doesn't? How do you position the brand in such a way that no one can replicate you? This goes back to understanding the one thing that you are best at and turning that into a message. Now let's talk about brand audience. We saved the best and most important section for last. Our overall audience, which consists of three main components: our buyers, our non-buyers, and our influencers. Now moving on with buyer persona. Nothing new here. We have to know who is buying from us in order to properly position our brand, our content, our everything. But in case we haven't nailed that point home enough for you already, you absolutely must have a written template of your most ideal customers in order to succeed in any new or emerging business. If I had a nickel for every time someone told me that everyone was their ideal customers, well, I'd have six nickels. It's most ideal for a reason. We are looking for the easiest person to convert, not the hardest. We want to focus our marketing efforts in order of the size of their problem, their willingness to pay, and our ability or cost to get a message in front of them. Let's talk about our non-buying audience persona. You think that everyone that comes to your site is a buyer, don't you? Well, they ain't. Most of them are there to just steal your thoughts and more, and move on. When it comes to scalable things like blogging, social media, or even letting window shoppers come into the store? We want to have a massive following of non-buyers. Well, we don't want to. We'd prefer buyers, but we'd prefer them to be aware of us. Our goal of having non-buyers twofold. Non-buyers are influencers. They may share, tell someone else, or promote our brand to someone else. Non-buyers become buyers. Obviously, a portion of our non-buying audience will eventually convert at a later date. Our job is to nurture them through the awareness zone and wait patiently for them to become interested. Think about it like if the CMO is your ideal buyer. The social media manager might be someone in the audience. This makes them both an audience member and an influencer. The influencer persona, understanding who the gatekeepers are to your buyers, is crucial. While we can buy traffic on all the major media platforms, it can be far cheaper to devise strategies to influence the influencers. Understanding how this group and target influences, whether with blog posts, with cold Twitter outreach, or simply running Facebook ads, is crucial to jumpstarting a business. Why get one reader of your blog when you can get a reader that has 10,000 followers? Think viral. Customer value proposition. Statement of value. Why should your customer buy a product, use a service, or consume your content? People don't buy products or services, they buy out outcomes. How do we get the outcome? How do we get the outcome? And what is the outcome? We need to move people from before to after. And the further we move them, the more money you can make. This is distinctly different than our unique selling proposition because it's all about why the consumer buys, not why we sell. Sounds similar to, but it's really quite important to differentiate the two. Final thoughts. If you're starting out on a new endeavor or rebranding an old business, you need to take the time to build a written branding strategy to ensure that you and anyone that is now or forever on your team can align their voice, their goals, their visual elements, and all other things that coincide portray your brand. At the end of the day, it's the customer who decides who you are. So ask them what they think. See if you're doing a good job building your brand by frequently polling your customer surveys. Your brand is never done building. But after you answer these questions, you will have a solid foundation to launching a successful brand to back a successful business. If you got value from this live stream and you'd like more content that will help you build your influence and impact in the graphic design world, then consider subscribing. And while you're at it, smash that like button. And we'll see you next time. Keep on dreaming. Bye.